Hey Charlie, was that the greatest episode of TV or what? You've seen the show? Isn't it amazing? It's like the best show on earth. I know. It's a shame that's the season ending, right? I know. What a bummer. I can't wait till next season. Well, unfortunately, I don't think there will be a next season for this show. What? What do you mean? This show is great. Well, of course it is, but there's plenty of shows that only lasted one season. But that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's showbiz, kid. It never makes any sense. There were so many cartoons that were hugely formative to us as kids, and sadly, they were short-lived. Sure, we can talk about the obvious classics, but today, let's shine some light on the ones that never really got their flowers. Hi, I'm Carmen Q Gollihar, and today on Retrotainment, we're keeping our PJs on all day and pouring out one more bowl of cereal for the best 80s and 90s cartoons that got canceled after just one season. These quirky, weird, and wonderful shows may have had a short run, but they brought us unforgettable characters and wacky adventures that captured our hearts and imaginations. Get ready for a delightful trip down memory lane as I share my definitive list of the best animated one-season wonders from the 80s and 90s. We begin with Rambo, and yes, I mean that Rambo. Inspired by Sylvester Stallone's films and airing from 1986 to 1987, Rambo, The Force of Freedom, brought the iconic drifting veteran John Rambo right into our living rooms. In the animated version, Rambo leads a special team called the Force of Freedom because every action squad needs a cool name. The series showed the Force fighting against the terrorist organization Savage because every bad guy team needs an evil-sounding but also cool name. Rambo's team had a fan favorite for every kid: Turbo the Engineer, Cat the Spy, and even a ninja named White Dragon. While it was marketed to kids, the show featured quite a bit of violence, gunfights, and military tactics. This was, after all, based on a very R-rated film. It was about a soldier with PTSD. Sylvester Stallone was also supposedly less than enthusiastic about his character being turned into a kid's cartoon. The show was canceled after just one season due to concerns over its suitability for kids, even though each episode tried to impart a moral lesson. It even went out of its way to show Rambo caring for sick animals when he wasn't on assignment. But it wasn't enough. It was one season of 65 episodes, which in all fairness is like 6 seasons by today's standards. So credit where credit is due. At ease, soldier! Next, the completely mental misadventures of Ed Grimley. This quirky gem was created in 1988 and was created by the brilliant and underrated comedian Martin Short. It was based on his classic character, Ed Grimley. He had an eccentric personality and a signature one-of-a-kind look. Completely Mental sums up this show pretty well. It featured not only stories about Ed Grimley, but interstitial segments about science hosted by the amazing Gustav brothers. And it had a horror segment hosted by the mysterious live-action Count Floyd. The show took us on some surreal adventures filled with whimsical humor. Like that one time, Ed goes to the hospital for a throat thing. Yeah, and his roommate turns into a werewolf. Or that one time, he tries to return a library book and he accidentally joins the army. That episode was hilarious. Okay, wait, focus, Carmen. The animation style was vibrant and so reflective of the late 80s. However, it struggled to find a solid audience. I wonder why. If I had to guess, maybe because its humor was skewed towards adults, and it just couldn't compete against heavy hitters like DuckTales and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, no shade, were totally awesome. Despite only lasting one season, Ed Grimley remains a cult classic for fans who appreciate Martin Short's unique comedic talents. Our next one-season wonder is Paw Paw Bears. This short but sweet series aired from 1985 to 1986. It featured a group of anthropomorphic indigenous-coded bears battling the forces of darkness. Aww, they were so adorable. The show attempted to promote values like friendship and environmental awareness. Each episode revolved around the tribe of Paw Paw Bears as they navigated various challenges, often teaching kids about kindness and cooperation. How could it lose? Well, the show was made by the legendary animation company Hanna-Barbera. They made classics like Yogi Bear and the Flintstones. But in the 80s, kids' tastes were changing, and to many, the Hanna-Barbera cartoons seemed a little bit old-fashioned. So Rambo was too violent, and this was too sweet. Make up your minds, people! Still, it holds a nostalgic place in the hearts of those who remember its wholesome themes. 1989 was the peak of Nintendo mania. Kids of the era were treated to a few super fun shows which featured their favorite digital characters. First off, I'm talking about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. It combined live-action segments with animated adventures of Mario, Luigi, and Princess Toadstool battling Bowser, just like in the game. And if that wasn't enough, Nintendo kids also got treated to The Legend of Zelda. It centered on Link's quest to save the Kingdom of Hyrule and the beautiful titular princess from the evil Ganon. It brought its own unique fantasy charm to the screen. Despite their popularity, both shows struggled to maintain the hype from their respective games and were ultimately canceled. It highlighted the ongoing challenges of adapting video games for television. Hold on, excuse me as I dip into my girly bag and pull out the New Kids on the Block cartoon. Airing from 1990 to 1991, this cartoon capitalized on the immense popularity of the New Kids on the Block. Each episode featured band members Jordan, Jonathan, Joey, Danny, and Donnie as animated versions of themselves, engaging in fun adventures that promoted friendship and teamwork. However, as boy band fever began to fade, so did interest in the show. But those girls were never really fans to begin with. Not like me! You hear me, Joey? Did you say something? Nothing. You want more cereal? It was canceled. Just after one season. It's a nostalgic reminder of the pop culture craze of the New Kids on the Block during their peak. And they're still at their peak. And lastly, Ghostbusters! No, not that Ghostbusters. These Ghostbusters. Well, actually, it's both. That's right, the 80s gave us two distinct Ghostbusters cartoons. Filmation's The Ghostbusters had no connection with the 1980s flick. It was based on a sitcom that originally aired in 1975. It had more of a comedic take with ghost hunting detectives and their talking gorilla sidekick Tracy. It was charming in a Scooby-Doo kind of way. Then came the real Ghostbusters in 1986. It was directly inspired by the hit film. The series captured the essence of the movie, with Peter, Ray, Egan, and Winston tackling supernatural threats with a mix of humor and adventure. It became a beloved classic, but even it faced challenges like declining ratings and merchandise sales, leading to its cancellation after just a single season. And there you have it, a few of my favorite animated one-season wonders from the 80s and 90s. And hey, if you do it right with just one season, who says you even need a season 2? Yeah, I just watched an episode of this new show called The Simpsons. I bet it only gets one season 2.
Don't!
See you next time!